Is this a second review of the Rightline Gear Moki doorstep? Yes, it is. Because the original had a critical flaw that has now been resolved. Hello, I am Wanderer001 and this is my review of the Rightline Gear Moki doorstep. As I stated before, there was a critical flaw in the first one and I passed it off as just maybe it didn't happen to me or I used it wrong and that's why I got what I got, which was the damage to the door frame. Well, here's what we're looking at. The original on the right, you can see why your door frame may get damaged because the rubber footy is being held in place not only by 2 screws underneath it, but 2 screws in the back of it. Well, what happens is depending on how much you bounced around, how heavy you are, or the style of door frame that you had, the rubber could move ever so slightly and then your Phillips screws here would rub on your door frame or dent your door frame, and that just is not good. However, Moki has redesigned their rubber bumper in the back to get rid of that problem. So I figured it would be worth a re-look at to see if anything has changed. And as you might suspect, not a lot has changed from the original review. However, if you are picking this up either in store or online, it does seem that they have phased out the older versions, and that's good. However, if you want to know for sure if you have one of the new versions, simply flip yours upside down and look, does it say patent pending or does it have a patent number? If it has a patent number, guess what? You have the newest one. With that being said, we're going to take the old doorstep out of the frame so that we can concentrate on what I'm going to call the version 2. Just like the original one, you have a fully aluminum footstep that is just under 2 pounds. So it's nice and light. You can carry it around with you wherever you'd like. They say that you can put it in your glove box. I keep it in the back of my Subaru under the floorboard because, well, that's where I keep my outdoory or car maintenance stuff. You are looking at a footstep that is 9.3 inches long, has a depth of 3.9, almost 4 inches, and a height up to the hook here of 5.5 inches, up to the rubber hook. Now, the hook itself is rubberized so that it will not scratch or damage the hook that you would actually be using on your car door in order to latch this into place. As we've talked about before, the major redesign with this is the rubber bumper in the back. They only use screws now on the bottom to keep this in place. So if we look at it, we can kind of pull that out a little bit and you can see really it's just kind of injected in there. So you can see we do get a little pull, but we can always slip those back into place very easily. And again, that's going to be the compromise of not leaving dents on the side of your door frame, is having a little bit of wiggle there, and we'll discuss that a little later when I actually demonstrate the usage of this on my vehicle. Now, just like the original, the all aluminum construction is textured on top so that you can get a firm grip, whether that be in rain, snow, or mud. If you happen to have debris on your boots, well, you'll notice that these cutouts are here to allow pass-through of debris and material, which is very nice. You also have some on this side, which is not gripped like the rest of it, but it allows for pass-through of debris and material. I will say that, you know, if you get mud and dirt in here, because it is coated aluminum, you could just spray it off when you get home or tap it off when everything dries off. That's the beauty of this. Now, the primary reason that I originally went with this particular doorstep from Rightline Gear, again, it was the Shark Tank thing. I don't really watch Shark Tank, but it came highly recommended. And when I got it, the reason I got it was the step itself is larger both in length and width than a lot of the other competitors, and I wanted to give myself as much room as possible. So that's the doorstep itself. Let's see it in action. Before I get started actually demonstrating and showing everything, I want to point out this little mark here is not actually from the current step. It is from the last step, which I did not notice last time. I always use the step on the other side of my car, so when I tested to see if it was actually damaging the vehicle, the previous version, I did not notice that little thing. So just keep in mind, this has actually not been caused by the new step. It is the old step that did this, because I've tested the new step here, haven't seen anything else like this, and on the passenger side up front. This will be installation of the new version 2 step. It's very simple. Like I said, you have the hook here. You simply place into the point on your car door, and you can see it just hooks in there, and it's rubberized so it doesn't actually damage anything. You've got your new footy. You will notice that the new footy doesn't sit flushly with this particular vehicle, and that's because of the curvature of the wheel well, but that doesn't mean that you can't get a good footing on here. You may have to just adjust the positioning of the foot slightly in order to make sure that it is sitting flush so you don't get a lot of wiggle room. With this particular foot, I actually have given myself 16 extra inches from the base of the floorboard there, which is where I was standing originally to access my cargo box. Not quite as much as I got when I was standing on the backs of my seats. However, I don't have to stand on the backs of my seats with this, and I get all this extra space, and I get something that I can move from car to car to allow me to get to things that are higher. Now, depending on the shape of your wheel well for your particular vehicle, you may not be able to use this. It does work better with flat door panels. So depending on your vehicle is whether you'll be able to use this in the rear or you'll have to use it in the front. And I'll show you what this looks like on the front of my vehicle as well. You can see from the size and how it sticks out, you can, if you have smaller feet, get 2 feet on here. However, I prefer to use it with 1 foot like this, just because it gives me a more stable base to work off of. Now, I could just roll in the footage that I did from last time of me standing on this, but that's not how I roll. So here we go with new demonstrations of different types of footwear on this particular step. All right, we started with a hiking boot. This is a snow boot. And last but not least, a sneaker. Now you can see, like I said, I kind of use the long part for better gripping, but if I wanted to, I can kind of get 2 feet on there, just again, based on my particular car. Sneakers, it'll be easier. Hiking boots, it'll be more difficult, and snow boots as well. And once again, to demonstrate the ease of installation and also on a slightly flatter surface, bring the hook up, slides down, and rests into place. Now, the only difference that I have found with the version 2 versus the version 1, aside from not putting dents in the side of my car, if you are at the very tip or the edge of the step, you may feel like the rubber is moving slightly, and I think that's why the screws were there originally, to help prevent it from feeling like that. Don't worry, the rubber's not actually going to go anywhere on you, but if it disturbs you, you can move further in. So there you have it. After removing the one critical flaw in the original version of this doorstep, I can highly recommend picking it up. It is a little pricier than a lot of the other doorsteps out there at $45, pretty much no matter where you end up getting it. Keep in mind that you are getting not hollow aluminum, much wider, much longer, and will no longer damage your vehicle. Whether you care if it was a Shark Tank thing or not is up to you. All I can say is I did like the original very much until I noticed that, yes, the dents that I was getting in my car were actually from it. So rectify that with the version 2. Remember to look for the patent number on the bottom to make sure that you are getting the version 2, which is what I'm going to call this. With that being said, I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.
If you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like, as that will help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here, you can always help fuel the next review by buying me a coffee, link in the description below. Last but not least, if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, you know what to do.